we'll gather around, feel the love compound. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong. In every comment.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So Resin has kindly sent me some goodies to play around with. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to open this box. Now, this is their new upgraded handheld mixer, and it's similar to the other ones. However, this one is upgraded and you can use hands-free. Now, it does come with a USB to C cord for charging. It comes with a stand that you can adjust the height. You get two different size paddles, a large one and a small one, and some very detailed instructions. Now, this also has the AI function on it to where it will automatically mix it for the 4 minutes. It has the timer on it, and it also rotates between the paddles going one direction and then the other direction after so many times. But one thing that I found really cool in this is that it actually gives you, on like the first page, it gives you a kind of chart on what type of resin: epoxy, fast cure, deep pour, coating resin, your liquid silicone rubber, and polyurethane resin, and what the viscosity is of each of those types of resin, and then which speed that you should have it on when you're mixing it, which I thought was pretty cool. And it also, for your coating resin and your rubber, your silicone, it tells you what is best, what size paddle is best to be used with it. I thought that was pretty interesting. This way, you know what the recommended speed is for it between the three speeds that it has: slow, medium, and fast. And it also, like I said, it has the AI function on it. It also has a timer on it, right? So the timer, I thought, was just for when you use the AI function, but there is an actual timer button on the side of it that you can turn the timer on. And this way, you know how long you're, actually mixing it for, and you don't have to use Siri as a timer. It also gives you a button that you can push that you can reverse the actual paddle and what direction it's going. So I thought that was super cool. And on to the molds. Now, this is their one of their newest released molds, and it is the yoga turtles, which I thought was super cute. And you get three of them. Now, these are fairly decent size. They tell you the sizes on each one of them. I think the largest being, it holds 8 ounces of resin, and the other two hold like 7 point whatever ounces. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. So that is what we're going to do today. I thought it would just be kind of a cute project to do. So first things first is, after I am done showing each one of these to you guys, we have to decide how we're going to do it. Now, they are large, like I said, and they do hold quite a bit of resin. So if you were to do it in one pour, these ones, I think you would be best to do using a deep pour resin, but that's not what we're going to do today. I'm going to use Resin's epoxy resin. However, what my plan is, I want to combine three kind of different things. I'm going to use two of this little piggy's mica. I'm going to use latte and glisten. And then I'm going to use Into Resin's non-sinking glitter. I think it's number 5. It's the green one. And I'm going to start with just their heads. Now, my plan is to incorporate some of those rocks that are over there into the piece, but I don't want them sinking into the head. I kind of want the head just strictly resin, which is why I'm doing it like this. And then the second pour, we'll add in the rocks. Now, the reason for doing this is, I think it'll be kind of a neat, because we're using some color, some clear, and whatever. I think it'll give it a neat look to it where the rocks are just kind of peeking through. And it's going to help kind of disperse some of that resin so we don't have to use quite so much. So as you've seen, I already poured my resin into my cup. Now it is just a matter of putting the paddle onto the machine and turning it on. Now with the button, the power button is on the front, and you do have to hold it in. At first I thought it was broke because I kept pushing it and it wasn't turning on. You do have to hold it in for a minute. and it automatically comes on. So when you put it on, you do want to already have it in your resin. You don't want it going before you put it into your resin because that can incorporate more air bubbles and all of that good stuff. And what I'm going to do is to be able to pick a speed for the mixing, you cannot have it on the AI function. The AI function is just whatever speed it is, however, whatever they set it up to, and it does its own thing and whatever. I am going to try using their recommendation for the speed, which for epoxy resin, if I'm not mistaken, let me check, is speed level 2 or 3. So I'm going to use that. And then I'm also going to kind of go back and forth and rotate the way that the paddles are going and see if it mixes it well and what it looks like, right? All right, so this is 4 minutes later. I am done mixing it. Now you always, no matter what not what resin, no matter what mixer you use, you always want to scrape around the sides and the bottom and mix up that unmixed resin where the paddles aren't reaching. That's not just Let's Resin, that is any automatic mixer that you're using. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I have a couple little cups that I've already poured some clear resin into. Those are off to the side. That's going to be for my color. The big cup is going to be for my clear with the non-sinking into resin glitter in there. And you just need a little bit, guys. Like, that is hardly any. That's all you need. You don't want to overdo it, right? So putting that in, I'm going to mix this up. And then I am putting my clear resin into my Let's Resin bubble remover for 5 minutes. Now, there's hardly any bubbles in it as it is. Like, this hand mixer did a great job mixing it up without incorporating a lot of bubbles. So I was really happy about that. So 5 minutes, which is the lowest kind of setting that it starts on when you turn on your bubble remover, is all you need. I don't think we're going to have any kind of issue with it. Now, for the other two, like I said before, I'm using oh my God, I'm using this little piggy micas in here, and we're going to go latte, and we are going to go glisten, and glisten is just like an interference green. Thought that it would be kind of cool, and we're just going to see what kind of colors that we can come up with and what the reaction is going to be once we put the resin into the molds. I'm not necessarily looking for anything in particular. I just I didn't want to go one straight color. I wanted to use a combination. Turtles are predominantly green with brown, so why not? And I know it's not like a brown, but I really like this color a lot. I just wanted to use it, honestly. All right, so that's mixed up. Now, I'm not worried about putting those through the bubble remover because they're colored, so if it had micro bubbles in it, which it really doesn't, you're not going to see it anyway. So, okay, everything's all mixed up. My camera's freaking out. I don't know what its issue is, but it's fine. It'll be fine. Now it's just a matter of pouring the resin into each one of these heads. Now I don't want to go over up into where the shell comes. I just want to do the head. So starting with a clear, and you saw me spray a little bit of alcohol in there, and that's just because the way that these molds are, some of them have hands that are down there. Since each one of them is different, I wanted just to make sure that the resin is just going to flow into those areas without me having to do a whole lot of anything to it. Now, the issue is I don't want the resin running down the sides, so I kind of want to aim it and have it go directly into the head where I want it without having to have a bunch of beads of resin dried up on the side, because I don't have to clean that later. So I tried just kind of pouring it in, but I don't know if you've noticed sometimes when you have brand new molds, there's kind of like a static electricity about them where it makes the resin just kind of like fling itself all over the mold. Have you noticed that, or is that just me? I don't think it's just me. So I thought that a popsicle stick kind of pouring it onto that would kind of help reduce that from happening, since it's on, the wood flowing down. And also it's going to help not create bubbles. When you're pouring it from this height, because these are fairly tall and you're pouring it straight in, you can introduce more air bubbles, which is kind of makes it pointless putting it through the bubble remover if we're just going to make it happen. but it's fine. It'll be fine. So just going in with a combination of all of the colors, and we're just going to do this until either the resin's gone or I hit that spot right where their heads stop. Now, only one of these, it's going to be into the arms because of the way the turtle is positioned. And it's fine. It's fine. It's not going to be a huge deal. We're going to use the same colors for the next part. We're just adding in the stone to it. So it'll make that different, but the colors are itself are going to be the same. So it shouldn't make a difference as far as that goes. At least I hope not. But you never know. Resin does what it wants, so we will see. And then after this is said and done and I get all of the colors in there, we are just going to set it off to the side for 24 hours to cure, and then we will be back and do the next part. Now, here's the thing. And this is where I ran into issues with this, which you're gonna see here in a minute. Now, I've already mixed up my resin. I'm just doing the same exact thing I did the day before, mixing in my colors, adding the micas to it. Yeah, I apologize for the graininess of the camera. I was fooling around. I had hit a button when I was turning it on, and there's this weird thing that's on my viewfinder screen, and I don't know what I touched to turn it on, but I was trying to shut it off, and in the process of attempting to turn that off, I hit another button and something screwy happened with the focus and all of that, and I was hoping that maybe it would fix the jumpiness of it, which I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, so then when I went to go and edit the video, I saw how crappy the shot is. It's fine. It'll be fixed here in a little bit, but we're just gonna have to suffer through the next few clips of of this. But I do fix it. All right, colors are mixed up. Now it's time to add the stone. Now I've got my clear resin in the bubble remover doing its thing. I figured I'll just throw the stone in here just to kind of see how much I'm going to need. Here's where I ran into problems. So these molds, because they're tall, you know how they have like the little supports on the side that hold them in place? Well, the main part of the mold obviously is where the turtle shell is, right? And the way that it is leaning and with the weight of the rocks, it was too heavy for those supports to hold it. So I was having issues with them falling over backwards, and it happened a couple of times. So if you go to use these molds and you're putting anything like rock in them, or I don't know what it would be with just straight resin, if it would make it to where you need to worry about it going and tipping over, but it may be in your best interest to prop these up against something like where my curing area is. I have a wall that the shelves are next to, so I just kind of set it up against the wall so that I don't really have to worry about it falling over backwards. Frontwards wasn't an issue. It was backwards where the shelves are that were the main problem that I had. And now I did spray this with alcohol, and I know it seems weird to do, but I thought that since the alcohol is so liquidy, right, that it would go down in between all of the rocks, and where I poured the resin in, instead of the resin kind of just clinging to the rocks, it would just kind of flow down in between them all, so I don't have a huge issue with bubbles and air getting trapped between all of those, which can be, especially the way that I'm choosing to do this right now, instead of just adding some resin, adding some rock, adding some more resin, doing like that. I just plop them all in there and kind of hoping for the best, but it'll be fine. I did go in there with a silicone tool and just kind of mix it around to coat all of the rocks with resin, hoping that that would kind of, if they are all covered, then maybe I wouldn't have an issue with air bubbles getting trapped in there. We'll find out here in the next day, I guess. But yeah, then we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to alternate pouring the colors in there, and I am going to remain stressed out that I don't accidentally knock the table or knock over one of these molds and resin go everywhere, because it was a real, especially the one that I have in my hand now, it was a real worry of mine the entire time. I was stressed. I was stressed. You'll see I keep moving and messing with the rocks in the way that they're holding, trying to kind of distribute that weight a little bit better so that I didn't have to worry about it running over or tipping over. But yeah, it's fine. Anyway, we're going to do this until they are completely full. Now, I didn't make enough because I wasn't sure exactly how much resin I needed to make because of the stones in there. I made less, obviously, but I didn't make quite enough. So I will have to go back in there and make a little bit more and add it to it. I'm just going to kind of go through this, and I will be back when we are ready to demold.
Ooh, down by the ocean where the sea breeze flows, turtles gather in their yoga pose, stretching flippers in the morning light. Salty air keeps their spirits bright. Seal the zen with a dive so deep, flow like the tide in a rhythmic sweep. Shells on their backs but their minds stay free, doing yoga by the endless sea. They twist and turn with a turtle grin, breathing slow as the waves roll in. Sunrise glow on their peaceful shell, a meditated tale they tell. Seal the zen with a dive so deep, flow like the tide in a rhythmic sweep. Shells on their backs but their minds stay free, doing yoga by the endless sea. Plank so steady in the shifting sand, strong as the currents that shape the land. Sway to the rhythm the ocean brings. Turtles do yoga, they're the Zen kings. Seal the zen with a dive so deep, flow like the tide in a rhythmic sweep. Shells on their backs but their minds stay free, doing yoga by the endless sea. Whoa, oh, ah, ah.
Okay, I'm back. Now, for these, I did not fill them up completely on screen. I wanted to wait. One of them I was able to, that I wasn't so worried about because it didn't give me issues, but I did fill the rest of the way once I had them in the drying area so that I could maneuver them a little bit easier without worrying about resin falling everywhere. All right, so this is 24 hours later. It is time to demold. Now, they are really easy to demold. The silicone is one of the super soft silicones. The only thing that I did was sprayed a little bit of alcohol down in the head. You can use soapy water if you don't want to use alcohol, and that was just to kind of be able to squeeze them out of the mold easier and not have to stretch and over pull the mold in that area, since it does get fairly narrow where its neck is. And the first one turned out pretty cute. They all actually turn out really cute. I like the way that you can see the rock through the mica powder. Now, the only thing that I wish I was able to do, and I could have done it if I'd done more than just the 2 pours or chanced it and filled up the molds more with rock, is on, especially this one, the rock kind of stops like halfway down its shell. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't like make it look horrible or anything like that, but I would have liked to have it go further. I had some worries with doing that. One was obviously, you already know, they kept falling over on me, so I didn't really want to make it any heavier. And the second was that because the rocks are so large and heavy and the silicone is a very soft silicone, I didn't want to make my mold like outstretched or weird looking because they just kept wanting to fall. Now, I could have, like I said, done a separate pour and added more once I kind of like covered the rocks that I had in there and added more later, but I didn't want to do that. So it's fine. All right. So now I'm just cleaning off all of the sharp edges with my deburring tool, and then where I can't get the deburring tool to work, I'm just using my X-Acto knife just to kind of make it nice and smooth so nobody gets cut on it. I could have domed them a little bit better. I could have had more in there. Again, I was just super worried that I was going to have an issue with resin leaking everywhere, so I chose not to. And now it is time to go ahead and just detail these guys out. So as I do this, I'm just gonna end it here as far as my talking bit, because I don't need to talk through this. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish this up and we're gonna detail them out and then go to the glamour shots. So on that note, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Guys, I am 90 subscribers away. Just 90 from hitting that 5,000 mark to where we can do the giveaway for the gallon of, well, the 3 gallons of resin, and, for 3 different people, 1 gallon each. And the other one for all of you guys outside of the US. So make sure you subscribe so we can hit that number. I would love, 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 love to hit it sometime this week coming up so we can do that celebration for it. Anyway, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you on Tuesday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong. Together we belong. In every comment, right? You lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue elephant crew, this one's all for you. You make dreams come true with everything you do. Each subscriber's heart playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care. Likes and shares, they grow. You make the channel glow. Every single view, I owe it all to you. Blue elephant crew, this one's all for you. You make dreams come true with everything you do. Each subscriber's heart playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care.